Hello, and thank you for tuning into this week's Mayor's Update. We have a lot of exciting information to share with you as always, but as we've said before, please continue to share this information with your friends, family, relatives, and anyone else who you think may find this information helpful or interesting. A couple weeks ago at the school committee meeting, Dr. Pellegrino and I mentioned that there was going to be a very exciting announcement coming up regarding our school system. Well, I'm happy to say today that we've been given the green light by the state to publicly announce that the school district has received just under $350,000 in grant funding to purchase new Chromebooks for our student and other technology that will help our students during this time where we have to deal with remote learning. Even when we transition into a hybrid model at some point in time, we'll have half the students in the building and half the students still at home. So this technology is something that we'll be using throughout the course of the upcoming school year to ensure that all our students have access to the technology they need to be successful in this upcoming school year and not fall behind in their education. I'm very excited to see where this technology leads us as a district in the future after the COVID-19 pandemic is done, in terms of whether we continue to have snow days or remote days or things like that in the future that we can have in the long run. And I want to say a special thank you to Governor Baker, Lieutenant Governor Polito, and everyone else who partners with us at the state for making this funding available to our school district to help our students succeed during these trying times. During the past week, members of my administration, myself, the DPW director, the city engineer, the assistant director of public works, and the assistant director of community development and planning met with our local downtown businesses to discuss the progress that's going on with the construction that's taking place downtown. I fully understand how difficult this past year has been for our businesses, particularly with the construction downtown, and then you add the COVID-19 pandemic on top of that. It's a trying time, but we can get through this together, and the light's there at the end of the tunnel. The goal that we have right now is that by the end of September, we'll have a coat of brand new pavement done in the roads in the downtown area that will sit through the wintertime. That should take up about 2 days worth of work in the downtown area. Then we'll come back sometime in the spring and put the top coat of pavement down, and that'll be the final piece of the downtown construction project. If any of our downtown businesses have any questions or concerns that they want raised about the projects that are happening downtown, please feel free to contact either myself or Dane Arnold, who is the Director of Public Works for the city, at any time, and we are happy to go visit you to talk about the project, to have a sit-down conversation with you, and just talk these problems through. We are trying to be fully understanding of the situation that you've been placed in given the pandemic, and want to work our best with our local businesses to ensure that we disrupt you as least as possible. I do also want to note that when we go through and pave the roads, either someone from my office or someone from the DPW will be going through the downtown businesses a couple days beforehand to give you a update as to when this work is being done so that you'll be able to plan better ahead of time. I submitted the budget to the City Council earlier this week on Monday. The budget this year is just under $70 million. Now that includes all of our city departments, our school department, and so on from there. As I said in a previous video, we will be having a special one of these update videos just for the budget, but I want to give you an update on some highlights that are in this document. The first one is the creation of a brand new position in our health department called a Substance Abuse Prevention Coordinator. This is very similar to the work that's being done by the Gardner Community Action Team, also known as GCAT. What this position will be doing is kind of taking those GCAT roles over. There was some issues with the grant funding that supports the GCAT program, and this position was created in the budget so that we wouldn't lose the vital resource that GCAT provides to our community in terms of working with our students in the schools and helping to partner with our nonprofit sector for substance abuse prevention programs that we have here. The position itself, in terms of its job description and so on from there, will be finalized at a later date, but for now, the first step in creating the position is having that funded in the budget. So that is new in the budget this year. I also want to point out, for those who have been tracking the school budget process from spring to now, that It had been said before that the schools were only going to be funded $43,000 above net school spending this year as compared to the greater amount that we've been able to do in the past. Well, working with our city auditor department, reviewing our anticipated revenues, and working with our school department, I'm proud to say that we were able to bump that number up to about $1 million over net school spending from what we initially anticipated. As I said in my inaugural address, our schools are where we make a permanent impact on the lives of our next generation every day that they either step into their building or turn on their Chromebooks now in the current pandemic, and we should be treating our school department as such. So I'm very excited to say that we were able to continue that support for our school districts, especially now when it's needed the most. Again, we'll talk more about this when we have our next discussion about the budget in a special one of these episodes. My office has received many questions about the reopening of City Hall, and I want to let you know that our offices are ready to open to the public in terms of our plexiglass structures and barriers have been put in place. We have hand sanitizer dispensers dispersed throughout the building. What's holding up the opening of City Hall is that we're rearranging where some of the offices are to make it more conducive to members of the public. We have certain offices that have a higher amount of people who visit them who have handicap needs, who need certain access to these offices, and we are evaluating how our offices best serve the members of the public. Once those offices are fully moved, that's when we'll be able to fully reopen, and we'll have an episode as to those reopening procedures in terms of what doors to use, how the guidelines are now being followed in our own building, and so on from there. But we're looking for a early to mid-September at the latest opening of City Hall. And then the last thing I'd like to mention in this week's update is that early voting is underway here for the upcoming September primary for the state. If you have not already voted by mail, which you still have the option to do, Saturday, August 22nd and Sunday, August 23rd, we will be open here in Perry Auditorium for early voting from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. We'll also be open from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. during the coming week for those who wish to vote in person before the September 1st primary. And then as always, you'll be able to vote at your local wards and precincts on September 1st. Just a highlight on that, we did change the Ward 5 polling location from the Knights of Columbus to the National Guard Armory. And all of this information can be found on the city's website, www.gardner-ma.gov. That concludes this week's update. Thank you for tuning in. And again, please feel free to share this information with anyone who you think may find it helpful. And until we talk again, please continue to watch out for your own mental and physical health during these trying times. Look out for each other, and I look forward to speaking with you next week. Have a great day, and I look forward to speaking with you soon. Thank you very much.